Okay, scenario is we've got a 39-year-old single parent father, okay, with $600,000 saved up, wants to retire by 50. How do you get that done? I'll explain that more coming up. My name is Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. All right, so check out this scenario. Love live situations. Again, difference between us and Dave Ramsey is he's popular and I am not. We are not. But other than that, also, he's not a certified financial planner. So he gets lots of call in and all that sort of stuff, but he doesn't actually do this for a living. And so that's one of the things that I would say is something you need to look out for if you're out there hunting for and consuming financial information out there on the internet webs, is look for someone who's doing it, right? And so as a CFP, on a team of CFPs, a team of nearly 80 individuals, serve a lot of folks and have seen all sorts of financial situations. And so saw this headline of a circumstance and I thought, oh, perfect financial planning question. Here it is, age 39, so 39-year-old dad, single parent, has $600,000 saved up for retirement. So a head start, that's great. However, wants to retire by age 50. How can he make that happen? First thing you need to do, if that is you, and really you're retiring early, okay, but definitely in this scenario, you've got to figure out health insurance. You've got to figure out health insurance because when you retire at age 50, you can continue your employer benefits, continuation benefits through COBRA. Most companies offer that, but that lasts for 18 months, okay, in many situations. The longest it can last is 3 years. Very few people qualify for that. So that gets you from 50 to 51 and a half. Well, Medicare doesn't start until 65, unless you're disabled or have end-stage renal disease, really bad circumstances. So you've got about 14 years, 13 and a half years of gap with health insurance. So what are you going to do? Okay, you've got to figure that out first. You've got to answer that first. Now, there's a couple ways that you could solve it, but you've got to solve this thing, okay? Here's a couple ideas. Number one, you can get a part-time job. That helps with income as well, by the way. But if we assume retirement means retirement and no other work, you're going to need to get health insurance from another source. And whether you like it or not, I'm going to, cut through all the politics, and Obamacare or Affordable Care Act or healthcare.gov or the marketplace, they all mean the same thing. And when that was ushered into law very quickly back in 2012, 2010, that basically made health insurance available for everyone, okay? Now, it comes at a cost, and that cost depends on your income, but you'd at least be eligible to get health insurance and through the exchange. You might not like it. It might not be the right networks, all this political stuff that they've talked about, okay? But anyway, if you're going to retire at 50 or retire early, you're going to need to figure out health insurance, okay? One option is going to work part-time somewhere where you'd get benefits even though you're part-time, and the other is exploring your options on Marketplace, on healthcare.gov, and making sure that that's appropriate for you. Third option you have is some sort of alternative health coverage, okay? And I'm not going to get into all that. It's not really health insurance, but these share plans, a more kind of grassroots way of how health insurance was supposed to work without all the bureaucracy and red tape. Those are options as well. Sometimes people will take those, but you're going to want to work with your certified financial planner and work with an independent health insurance advisor to explore all your options and get that figured out. You've got to slay that dragon. You've got to figure out your health insurance before you make that decision to retire at age 50 or retire early. That's the first thing you got to figure out. Second thing you got to figure out is your income strategy. You've got to create a bridge to Social Security, okay? And by the way, if you're retiring at age 50, you're not going to have a robust earnings history either. Social Security is calculated off of 35 years of earnings history, and if you've only worked from, let's say, 20, okay, and really didn't even get a good job or career until 25, until age 50, that's 25 years. That's a nice amount, but it might mean your Social Security is cut a little bit short. But I digress. You're going to need to figure out, if you're retiring at age 50, you're going to need to figure out an income strategy, an income bridge, at least until Social Security, okay? Here's the issue. You're going to need to save up a lot more in less time, right? So your retirement, if you retire at age 50, is going to last that much longer, all right? And you won't have all the stress of us workers, so your life expectancy will probably be even longer, right? So you've got to save up even more by the time you're age 50 because your retirement's going to last longer. And you're going to have less time to do it. So you've got to figure that out. And then from that, you've got to build an income strategy. The other challenge with that is because you need those dollars to last even longer, normally that means you're going to need to take more investment risk, okay? Because those dollars have to last a long time, and long-term investing, right, is typically growth-oriented stocks, that sort of stuff. But you're going to be accessing the dollars sooner, which is going to be the opposite. It's going to mean that you should be more conservative, okay? That's figuring out this income bridge. Now, to retire at age 50, I mean, you're going to need to save up a lot more in less time. You're going to need to be very aggressive, and you can do it, okay? But it's going to take a lot of discipline, and from that will help you build a bridge to Social Security. Where most people or many people do this is they've got alternative sources of income, rental real estate, maybe that part-time job like I talked about earlier, and then maybe they've squirreled away a certain chunk of their nest egg, a certain chunk of their investments. Maybe they've saved up $3, $4, $5 million bucks, and they've got a million or a chunk of that set aside where it's, okay, the rest of this we're not going to touch for a long time, so we're going to invest it for the future, but this chunk right here, we're going to spend down until we reach Social Security, okay? So you've got to draw out that plan, you got to analyze it and work that plan with the CFP, but you've got to build that bridge to Social Security, that income strategy. Third thing you've got to figure out in order to retire at age 50 is you've got to figure out your tax strategy, your tax plan. What do I mean by that? Well, I already said you've got to save up a lot more, right, in less time, okay? But you're going to have to be able to access those dollars before you're age 59 and a half. And why do I bring that up? Well, you already know that. That's the magical age. I don't know why they came up with the half birthday. Just make it easy, Congress, but they didn't do that. 59 and a half is when you can access your 401k, your IRA, your Roth IRA without paying an early withdrawal penalty. Now, there are some ways around it. 72T, substantially equal periodic payments. However, you're locked into that. And that means you need a lot of flexibility because you're retiring really young, but you give up a lot of flexibility because you're doing that substantially equal periodic payment. So to me, you've got to find a way to save up outside of using tax shelters. But the problem is, if you do that, that means you're going to be paying more tax. And you can't afford to pay more tax because you need to save up more money. So this is the conundrum. This is the double-edged sword, okay? How you figure this out is doing the math to say, how much can I and should I be saving into tax shelters so that you limit how much tax you're paying? But then how much money do I need to save up outside of that so that I can access it between when I retire at age 50 and 59 and a half? That's careful planning. To a geek like me, I love that sort of stuff, but you're going to need to figure that out. Figure out your tax planning, your tax shelter strategy. And then finally, I mentioned it already a couple times, you're going to need to figure out a way to save up more money in less time. Save up more money than less time. Obviously, in order to retire at age 50, you're going to have more saved up than if you were retiring at 65, because your retirement at 50 is going to be 15 years longer than if you retire at 65. I have no idea how long you're going to live. That's just what that means, right? Your retirement will be longer. And so that means your career, your saving years are going to be shorter, and you need to save up more during that time period. This is where a lot of people in the FIRE movement, financially independent, retire early, are using leverage and using rental real estate and so on to provide that income gap or to solve that income gap and so on. But you've got to save up more in a shorter amount of time. But here's how you can thread the needle with all of this, okay? By needing to save up more in a shorter period of time, that means you're going to have to temper down your spending and your lifestyle. You're going to need to be frugal. That's going to help you. That is going to be an advantage, okay? Sort of the joking Bernard paradox is the less you spend, the more you can save up. And the less you spend, the less you really need to save up. And so that's a good thing. But the opposite, the inverse, is a double negative, right? The more you spend, the less you're able to save up. And the more you spend, the more you're going to need to have saved up, okay? So if you want to retire at age 50, you're going to need to spend less. You're going to need to be frugal, and that will benefit you. That will help you in this process. Next, that should allow you to use a chunk of tax shelters, okay, saving up maybe max into your 401k and maybe a Roth IRA, but should also allow you to save up $1,000 a month, a couple $1,000 a month, something into non-tax shelters, okay? So you're using that blend of tax shelters and avoiding, managing your tax bill while also saving up in a non-tax sheltered way, all right, non-tax advantage way, so that you can access those dollars before retirement. And then finally, sort of threading this needle is then if you can live off of those non-retirement dollars when you're age 50, between age 50 or early retirement and 65, your income's gonna look really low. That should qualify, that should allow you to get on healthcare.gov, Affordable Care Act health insurance at a discounted rate, getting some premium tax credits because your income will look on your taxes low enough so that you get some subsidies, all right? Because you're living off of cash in the bank or investments that you'd saved up and done some careful tax planning with prior to all of this, you're able to make your income look pretty small and get that health insurance that you so desperately need, that first thing that I told you needed to solve, get it at a very reduced cost or in some cases, absolutely free. Single parent at age 39 right now, got $600,000 saved up. You're ahead of the game for retirement. Fantastic. But then want to retire at age 50? Is it possible? Absolutely. You've got to be doing that careful 5-factor retirement planning right now with your CFP. So if you have a goal even similar to that and you're not working with a CFP, you can always contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with K, wisemoneyshow.com. You can find us there as well. Or give us a call, 574-247-5898. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.